So what is the, we have a minister.
Yes.
What is he doing about this?
Oh, yes, like I said, there's a roadmap, but Nigeria, we're great at creating documents, but we're not so great in implementing these documents.
And for you at the chambers, I mean, you're supposed to be advocating.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Oh, we've been singing. I came into this office just beginning of this year, and I've had quite a bit of press conferences. Channels was one of them. We are educating the public. So we have these Minds to Market master classes. We've invited banks, we've invited insurance companies, industry practitioners, geologists, explorationists. You need to understand the processes involved in mining. If you don't understand, the banks will not give you money. Let me give you a typical example. How many banks have mining desks in their, HQs? Probably 1 or 2 out of 20-something of them. Now, these mining desks, do they know what to ask for when looking at your business plan? I don't want to mention any names, but, one of our members went to a bank one day and they were asking about geophysical survey. Oh, I know what this maps look, I've seen this map before, I know what this map looks like. Okay, that is just one component in the whole grand scheme of things. You haven't asked for your geochemical survey, you haven't asked for your core drilling, your chemical analysis, your reserve estimates. I'll give you an example. I know, what's that popular OML that went out there that, there's so much scandal above, that it's the biggest oil well. Yeah, you know what is in there. That's why there's so much corruption surrounding it. Now, if you had proving reserve estimates, and you know that, okay, in that location, there is 100 million tons of XYZ, a bank would run to that because they know for the next 40, 50 years, if you were to mine 100 million, a specific amount every month, you have your cash flow.
Whose responsibility is it to get those data?
Well, there's an institution called NGSE, right? They have that data, but they have it to a certain degree. You as a business need to get finance to do further exploration. They've done something called the airborne geophysical survey, which is literally a plane going down and mapping out the whole place, telling you what is where, and based on color variations, you can tell what mineral is in what location. Now, that is not good enough for a bank. You need to give your bank bankable data, okay? And the only way you can have bankable data is to actually go into the location and have core drilling done. Core drilling is just you drill into the ground, you bring out everything you see in the ground after it's gone a whole bunch of meters or feet into the ground, and you can tell, okay, if I should mine here, this is how long this reserve will last me. That is how a bank will be interested in the industry. Now, Einstein said something once that, look, if you keep using the same approach and expecting a different result, you're joking, you must be crazy. Now, we've been using the same approach to solve this thing all this while, but
it's not working.
It's not working. So we need to jig it up a little bit, figure out what we're doing wrong. And it's obvious what we're doing wrong. We don't have enough exploration data. That is the real problem. Now, if we put our act together, there are a lot of grants available by DFIDs, USAID, World Bank, African Development Bank, which our own person is even the president of. You can get these grants and do exploration. Let us figure out how much quantity is in that location. So, okay, we've got too many minerals, 44. Let us focus on the 7 you've isolated and create hotbeds of activity in those locations with the 7 strategic minerals and figure out something from there. Now, I don't care what kind of mineral it is, if you spend $2 million on exploration, core drilling, you will figure out what is in the ground there, and the banks will get interested. Even if the local banks are not interested, international banks would run towards bankable data that shows proven reserve estimates.
Yeah, but we have a lot of foreigners in this sector.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I'll give you an example. The Chinese have free money, quote unquote. They've got technology, they've got the heavy-duty equipment, and they've got cheap labor. So you find a lot of Chinese companies are now in Nigeria mining. There isn't really data transfer or knowledge transfer with these foreigners because you find out that they actually have somebody for everything. Even their welders, their welders are Chinese sometimes. You know, I mean, it's great. Yeah, they're coming into the community. I mean, you know, paying royalties to the government. But if you don't have any indigenous mining exploration companies, we're only suffering ourselves in the long run. What are we leaving behind for our kids and our grandkids?
And what about capacity? I mean, a lot of artisans, we'll have a lot of artisans
yeah.
in the mining business.
You know, that is the blessing and the curse we have, because artisans are literally just trying to make a living for themselves off the ground they see everywhere, okay? They believe the ground belongs to them. They are the son and the daughters of the land. So it will be very hard to convince them that they cannot dig. So what government is trying to do is create cooperative societies where you can group all these chaps together and formalize their processes. Now, if you now say, okay, you formalize their process and they should go and apply for, you know, facility, and you tell them to bring collateral, how do you want artisans to bring collateral? That's why they're artisans. That's why they're illegal. They don't have money. If they had money, they won't be illegal. So like I said, if we keep using, you can't approach mining projects or mining finance the same way you approach every other finance. There has, I mean, like I said, we've been doing the same thing and it's not working. So why don't we try something else? You know, we all know exploration is the problem and banks need exploration bankable data. So why can't the government put some money into the 7 strategic minerals, into exploration? Know that, okay, at Ilubiri, there's X amount of coal and it is 100 million tons. Now, they've put money into the exploration of that site. So there's equity for the government. So all they do is concession the site and sell some of the equity to a private company, PPP, right. And then we move forward.
Thank you very much for your time. I guess we have quite a lot to talk about this sector, perhaps in future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Babatunde Alatishe is the Chairman Mining Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry.